this is my first time ever dipping into Warhammer in this type of way, like for stream. We've always kind of grazed over it, and not really went too in depth, but now we're kind of going even deeper down the rabbit hole, and a lot of you guys like it. I mean, a lot of people on YouTube especially. I mean, I go to my VOD channel about when I played Warhammer, and everyone's commenting with fun facts. Some people are like, actually the person that said this is wrong. And you know, there's a bunch of people that are interested in Warhammer and the VTuber Warhammer pipeline. So we're gonna go ahead and watch this. After we're done, we get into Space Marines. So it's yeah. Okay, let me just start. Thank you again, Bricky, for letting me watch this and upload it to my VODs. You are amazing, and I'm glad that we have someone allowing us to do this. All right, let's go ahead.
As someone who doesn't necessarily serve the Omnissiah, but someone who can appreciate them, you will not be getting my legs today.
Oh, wait, guys, I ended up watching a small short of Warhammer, and apparently the Mechanicus, you know, the tech priests in Space Marines, technically they think that the machine god
Speaking
is
of
like
games like Baldur's Gate and Divinity, in terms of tactics stuff, you might like Mechanicus, honestly.
I probably will, to be honest. Any tactical game I will enjoy. But I was just saying, the Mechanicus, they think the machine god or whatever is Omnissiah for like the emperor or whatever, or I don't know. They think something that the Space Marines don't agree with and would normally be considered heresy, but for the sake of not going to war with another faction, they just like pretend like this is fine. So that's what I learned in a short the other day.
I'll be replacing them with various things depending on which faction we are currently talking about, to add a little bit more context and possible comedy to whatever the hell I am currently doing. So, hello everybody, my name is Bricky, and this is going to be a long video and a large project that has been going on for quite some time. This is, I need two hands for this. This is every single Warhammer 40k race in kind of a nutshell, explained, a little bit of explanation, a little bit of lore, a little bit of talking about the tabletop, but mostly lore, what they're all about, and also a little bit of background for those of you who just have no clue what Warhammer 40,000 is.
Why did Bricky look good with long hair though?
Now you see, Warhammer and Warhammer 40,000 is a universe people hear plenty of, but don't know a whole lot about. They see, oh, there's these dudes in big power armor with chainsaw swords, and they got these big old green orcs, and there's some bugs over there, and everyone calls these guys weebs, and then there's these spiky bitches over here, and I don't get it. I
wouldn't say Warhammer people are weebs though. I think they're just more just nerds. You know, weebs are anime enjoyers, you know, but Warhammer enjoyers, they're just straight up nerds.
I don't understand. Where do I start? Well, this video is particularly for you, or for those of you who have a little bit of knowledge, but you're kind of curious about each of the different races and factions in Warhammer. So overall, the Warhammer universe is vast when it comes to lore and background, and each different faction is so different with the things that they believe in, and some are human, some are transhuman, like where they all have all these crazy ass electronics on them. You've got aliens, and you've got the chaos factions, and there's so much to entail that I decided to embark on this project to tell you what each and every single one of them is about, and what the Warhammer universe is about as well, to give at least a little bit of an intro to this extremely bloated but very, very enjoyable world that I and many others partake in. So I will be explaining every single faction in.
I'm a Blood Angels enjoyer. Let me just say, I know Blood Angels, Adeptus Sororitas. I know that. I know Eldars. I know the Necrons, because you guys said Necrons are pretty cool. Who else do I know? You guys told me about the Tau Empire just very briefly, and the Orcs, and how the Orcs they literally like believe and manifest things into existence because they're that stupid. I know the Space Wolves and Space Marines, and the Tyranids.
In the Warhammer 40k universe, at least all the factions you can play as, and some smaller factions here and there. I will not be discussing absolutely everything in it because that is a little bit much, and I'm not going to go too mega deep into the lore. I'm going to give you a pretty solid overview of each of the different factions and have you learn a little bit about them, and we'll discuss a little bit of the tabletop as well in case you were curious about that. But for this episode entirely, we are discussing the Imperium of Man because that takes up a fat chunk of Warhammer lore. Oh, boo-hoo! What is Warhammer 40,000? Well, the 40,000 starts off is the year 40,000, the 41st millennium. That's where it takes place.
Why did I never put that together? I just thought it was some random number they slapped onto the name.
Is in the year 40,000, 41,000 AD. You're already more knowledgeable. Let me read you a quote, first of many quotes in this video. It is the 41st millennium. For more than 100 years, the Emperor has sat immobile on the golden throne of Earth. He is the master of mankind by the will.
You know, sorry, I keep pausing, but I'm going to do that constantly. How does the Emperor pee and poop if he's constantly sitting on the throne?
Of the gods and master of 1,000,000 worlds by the might of his inexhaustible armies. He is
his throne is a toilet,
writhing invisibly with power from the dark age of technology. He is the carrion lord of the Imperium, for whom 1,000 souls are sacrificed every day so that he may never truly die.
You said he's dead, but he's not actually dead, guys. Don't they sacrifice psychers to the Emperor so that he, they sacrifice one psyker to the Emperor so that he can live another day? Isn't that what they do?
To be a man in such times is to be amongst untold billions. It is to live in the cruelest and most bloody regime imaginable. These are the tales of those times. Forget the power of technology and science, for so much has been forgotten, never to be relearned. Forget the promise of progress and understanding, for in the grim, dark future, there is only war. There is no peace amongst the stars, only an eternity of carnage and slaughter and the laughter of thirsting gods.
Yep.
Everything blows. And it blows fucking hard. Warhammer is probably...
What? I don't know why. I just thought, I just had a split image of gotchi in my head.
And it blows fucking hard. Warhammer is probably the most dark and depressing universes ever in fiction, or at least like top 3.
I mean, lobotomized babies.
So absurdly horrible, destructive, or overpowered that it all kind of ends up canceling itself out. It's like Dota. War.
Dota! He's into Dota!
Rages across the galaxy. Interstellar travel is only possible due to sacrificing 1,000 souls a day to a rotting carcass of a man who you believe to be your god. Demonic gods and just demons tear open the fabric of reality on a whim. Other Xenos or even other humans end up killing each other in untold billions across the galaxy. It is a time of unending war, slaughter, and a bloodbath amongst everybody. Planets are deemed unrecoverable and are completely destroyed on a whim. Everything sucks. But that's like the charm of it.
That's true. I learned, there was a video that I watched about the different types of psychers. There are some psychers that are considered so dangerous that they're able to just destroy planets with a snap of a finger. That's fucking wild to me. But it's very rare for that to be a thing.
See, everything in Warhammer is evil. But being evil is kind of fun. Humanity, in its own right, is a xenophobic, prejudice, and religious zealot group that kill each other just as much as they kill all of their enemies. And they're mid to high tier evil on the evil scale of Warhammer. Nobody is good. No matter who you are,
you guys told me that.
Everyone is some flavor, some color of evil. Whoever you pick, you are going to be the bad guy. But that's the fun of it, because being the bad guy is badass.
But if you're the bad guy and you're if you're the bad guy, you don't think you're the bad guy, so you're actually the good guy.
Villains are cool. They look cool. They got cool outfits. They got cool weapons. They got cool armies. Villains are cool, man. And when everyone is a villain, everyone is pretty cool. That's what makes this so charming, is that everyone can be the bad guy. So let's start off talking about the main bad guy, quote unquote.
Average question.
The Imperium.
Which faction is the bad guy faction? The answer, yes.
Wouldn't like the Chaos Space Marines be kind of like really bad?
Of man.
His hair, whack. His gear, whack.
The Imperium of Man is the main empire of the human race. All of humanity is under this one flag called the Imperium. And about 10,000 years ago, there was a man. He was the Emperor, the Emperor of mankind, a 10-foot tall psychic demigod who led humanity across the stars to colonize tons and tons of worlds, create superhuman soldiers, and really bring humanity into a new age. This man, the Emperor of Mankind, was a psyker. And a psyker is like a magician of sorts.
The first
in the
British
world of 40K,
king.
there is the warp, the immaterium, kind of like hell, but sort of like a purgatory dimension of hell. And a psyker is someone who can take that power and manifest it through their mind to use it to do stuff, like witchcraft stuff, magician stuff,
witchcraft.
spells, and lots of other things, but we don't want to get too into that. The Emperor, big boy psyker, top tier, A+, maybe even S. Now, the Emperor created a bunch of sons. Yes, created a bunch of sons known as the
like
Primarchs.
biological sons?
He created 18 Primarchs to have them lead all of the different legions of humanity.
Why did he say 18 and after 20? I don't get it.
To the different stars and planets to help colonize and bring it out. These Primarchs are basically like little versions of the Emperor. Not
We
all
don't
of them are
talk about
psychers,
two?
but a lot of them
Okay.
are very, very powerful, and they lead his special Space Marine legions. Then this big clusterfuck happened called the Horus Heresy, where the Emperor's favorite son, the Primarch, Horus, ended up joining Chaos and leading 9 other, well...
And you know what? Sanguinus fucking snitched on that fucker, and then Sanguinus got, and his whole chapter got, like, prosecuted.
I guess 8. 9 of the 18.
Was it Sanguinus or was it the Thousand Sons? I forget. Oh, it was Magnus. It was Magnus.
Half of his Primarchs direct.
Orcs have 2 gods, Gork and Mork. Gork is brutal but cunning. Mork is cunning but brutal.
Brutal but cunning. Cunning but... Wait, that's the same thing.
Directly to Earth to fight down the Emperor himself. Now, if you want to know what Chaos is, remember what I mentioned earlier? The warp, that immaterium, the hellish place? In there lies the 4 Chaos gods.
Oh, who's that baddie right there on the bottom right? Who's that? Tell me.
Imagine like Satan and 3 other Satans. The warp being kind of evil, those Chaos gods, that's the reason. And so those Chaos gods manipulated Horus, and then Horus helped manipulate all 8 other Primarchs to lead this giant coup directly on the Emperor on Earth. And they fucked up shit. After this huge civil war, Horus died, but not before brutally wounding the Emperor. And right at the end of his life,
God of Hawk and Tua.
they put the Emperor on this large golden throne on Earth, in which he is now alive, just barely, but slowly rotting away, powering something called the Astronomicon, so long as he stays alive, and is fed 1,000 people a day.
So is the God Emperor, is he technically still sentient if he's dead? He's still, like, making money moves, right? Oh, he's super dead. He's basically immortal, kind of, but he can't talk. He's that strong. He's just he's a nugget. He's a literal nugget.
Astronomicon is like the North Star. If you want to do interstellar travel in 40K, you need to pass through that demonic warp I mentioned earlier. But how do you know where you're going? Well, the Emperor is there putting a nice little navigator right there. He helps navigate you to know where you're going. If you want to go from Earth to some crazy solar system across the way, you need to go through that warp, and then you need to know where you're going, Go through there and pop your way out. It's like doing nether travel in Minecraft, so you can shorten the
Biggie
distance
is
between going
trapped in his own body probably. He might possibly be fucking around in the warp trying to become a real god, but we don't really know.
Oh. So from my understanding, I did also see that apparently one of the chapters in the Space Marines did have a whole web system, or maybe it wasn't a chapter, maybe it was a different race, but they had this whole system down that they can travel. They didn't have to travel through the warp, but they can literally teleport anywhere that they wanted to. Was it the Eldar? It was like a webway, but then it got destroyed later on in like the timeline, and they can't do that anymore. Am I correct on that?
Areas. So long as the Emperor is alive and being fed 1,000 people a day to stay alive, you can do that. The moment he dies, interstellar travel's gone for all of humanity.
Oh shit.
You're so boned.
Oh,
now, since the Horus Heresy
shit.
10,000 years
So
ago,
we need
the
the
Imperium
Emperor.
has fallen from grace substantially. All technology has started to dwindle and die. There is now giant fundamental religious extremists that now believe the Emperor of Mankind was a deity, a true living god, which is probably the last thing the Emperor would have wanted to be remembered for. So now you have this thing called the
that's so
Ecclesiarchy,
cool.
which is this giant church entirely devoted to spreading the good word of the Emperor. He is now
Fuck
the
the
holy
Emperor. I mean,
Emperor
for the
God,
Emperor.
the God Emperor of mankind, and all of the Imperium has taken up
The Eldar
worshipping
Webway.
him
The
to the
Emperor
fullest
was
extent.
working on the Golden Throne to break into and steal Webway. It became a life support chair instead.
Oh,
Killing
shit.
anything that isn't humanity in his name. The Imperium has this futuristic
That is crazy. Is that official Warhammer art? That is so fucking cool.
Gothic tone to it and a hefty religious zealotry to them. If you think anything against the Emperor, that's heresy and you deserve to die.
I love the
That is
Emperor.
called being a heretic. Heretics die in 40K. There is
I
no
love
such thing as
Emperor.
freedom of religion. There is no such thing as freedom of speech so long as you are against the Emperor. There is no such thing as any kind of tolerance. Everyone is a religious zealot. Some more than others, but no matter what, you preach in that good word.
Press
So
one
right
if
now,
you love the Emperor,
everyone in
chat.
humanity is trying to expand their empire across the stars. If you are a heretic, someone who doesn't believe in the Emperor, you are deserving of death. If you believe in the Chaos Gods, you are also a heretic and you deserve death. If you are an alien race of any kind, you are a filthy Xenos and you deserve death as well.
Am I a Xenos, chat? I saw in the comments of my VOD channel, some people said I would be a Vespid. Is that different from the Tyranids? Am I gonna die? Is the Emperor gonna kill me?
Love me Emps, 8 knife ears, 8 orcs, 8 chaos, 8 bugs and Xenos, love me Lasgun.
But I love the Emperor. I said it here, and everyone knows that I love the Emperor. I'm gonna die, chat.
Biggie hated religion. If he saw the Imperium today, he'd destroy it all.
I'm gonna die.
So long as the murder continues and humanity expands, the Imperium of Man is very, very happy. However, the largest fighting force of this Imperium is my personal favorite faction, and the first faction we will discuss, the Astra Militarum, or also known as the Imperial Guard.
Ooh. Are they from Acadia? Are these Acadia guys?
You finished. That's it, man. Game over, man.
The Imperial Guard is the main fighting force of the Imperium, and in a world of horrifying creatures, galactic monstrosities, the literal demons themselves breaking through the fabric of time to kill you, the Imperial Guard are
They're just regular
untold
humans.
billions of regular men and women
Yeah.
wearing modern day like flak armor with a laser rifle. This is the
That is so
humble
cool.
las gun, the main weapon of the Imperial Guard. It fires superheated plasma lasers at an extremely fast fire rate. It is reliable, never jams. It can blow off limbs, giant holes in concrete. It is overall an extremely devastating weapon in modern day.
Would you guys be a Giga Chad what are these guys called again? Giga Chad Imperial Guard, or would you be a Giga Soy Primaris? Yeah, choose your fighter.
It is one of the weakest in the 40k universe. Yeah, a laser rifle that never jams, it could blow off limbs, one of the weakest weapons. That's the world we're in right now. But who cares? Because the Imperial Guard has, in each battle, 500,000 of these men and women. 30,000 large armored tanks, 10,000 artillery batteries. The Imperial Guard wins through sheer numbers and firepower. They kind of have this
ants.
World War I, World War II style aesthetic with legions of guardsmen as well as high company commanders and generals on the field along with them, and multiple kinds of troops. A normal Imperial Guard battle starts off with artillery, long lines of artillery, cracking the crust of the planet underneath the enemy's feet. And as this barrage continues, hundreds of thousands of guardsmen, a sea of guardsmen surges forward, firing and charging at everything possible while the planet rumbles as tanks roll up behind them. Gunships block out the sun and tanks block out the dirt with the steps and footprints of millions of guards. It is through numbers and sheer sundering firepower. They are the first and last line of defense for the Imperium and make up a huge bulk of the battles. The Imperial Guard is also made up of tons of different kinds of regiments. The Catachin jungle fighters live in a death world that's more hospitable than almost any firefight they'll ever get into. So they just have this steroid-looking, giant knife, Rambo Predator-looking sons of bitches, where nothing is anywhere near as scary as a simple night on their home planet. You have the Valhallan Winter Soldiers who haven't felt their toes in 300 years, the Mordian Iron Guard who are more interested in making their shoes shine than actually fighting a battle, and then of course the big one, the Cadians from Cadia. The big
I learned that last time. I learned that from the previous stream. They're gonna become one of my favorite factions as well after I learn more. Cadia still stands. I love how the subtitle said Canadians. I'm okay, thank you.
Biggest export of guardsmen in the entirety of the Imperium. You will fire your first gun at 5. You will disassemble and reassemble it at 10. You will have pounding artillery drills day in and day out at 15. And you'll fight your first Swarm Lord at 16. And if you mention Cadia, you will burst into an unrelenting amount of tears and sadness like I do daily. To quote, I have at my command an entire battle group of the Imperial Guard, 50 regiments including specialized drop troops, stealthers, mechanized formations, armored companies, combat engineers, and mobile artillery. Over 500,000 fighting men and 30,000 tanks and artillery pieces are mine to command. Emperor, show mercy to the fool that stands against me, for I shall not.
How long was Cadia fighting until it broke apart? Like, how long did the war happen for it to just explode after? Couple years, many years? Yeah, but was it like, is there a number to that? Like centuries, decades? Double-digit years? Okay. About 25. There's many different answers here. Are women canon in 40k? I feel like I don't hear mention of them. I feel like I've seen a couple of women, but I mean, a lot of the popular ones are guys, I suppose. But there is the Adeptus Sororitas, which is the female space marine version. And when they go to battle, they literally have cherubs, like babies, like lobotomized babies, that will like fly in to give them ammunition and weapons. I think that's so cool.
It took 13 Black Crusades before the planet broke.
Not Space Marines, because they're clones of their Primarchs, who are clones of the Emperor. Oh, okay.
Imperial Guard are my personal favorite faction in 40k. They're the army I collect the most, the ones I enjoy playing the most, and the one I enjoy in the lore sense a lot. There's something about just a regular man with a laser rifle being told to charge the horrors of this universe
Look,
and willingly doing so for his god emperor.
It
It's
took
just
13 Black Crusades for Chaos to actually win that fight, and each crusade took around like a decade or more. So by
Holy
that
shit.
math, we can conclude that it took a long fucking time.
Yeah. Where's the death corp of Krieg? Maybe he'll get there. I don't know what that one
One
is.
thing about asking chat questions, half of the lore is told as it would be told to Imperial citizens, EA propaganda. There are multiple correct answers to every question.
Ah.
poetic. They actually represent the main Imperial Guard tactics pretty well. Large amounts of artillery that doesn't require a line of sight, lots of tanks, tons of infantry, drop troops, and gunships.
The crazy
Overall,
thing is
pretty
that
similar to how they sound, though
their
a little bit
weapons are
expensive
probably
to
the
collect,
weakest.
unfortunately. And they don't hit a lot. They have a bit of a bad aim, but you don't really care because you're just drowning them in shots. However, if you want more accurate fire and specialization, we can move on to talk about Space Marines.
Space Marines!
The Angels of Death are up next. Space Marines are genetically engineered super soldiers and superhumans. They're given extra organs, their skin tissue is toughened, their bones are stronger, they're taller than the average person. They're pretty massive people, and these are the specialized super soldiers that carry out a lot of the more specific tasks for the Imperium. And there's tons
They're
of
genetically
legions of them.
modified.
In fact, there's one per Primarch. Each Primarch, the Emperor's son, as I mentioned before, oversees their legion of Space Marines. The genetic upgrade they get is based on the genes of said Primarch. It's something called a gene seed. That's what brings them up to this like superhuman level. As stated, each Primarch has their own legion. Robot Girly Man has the Ultramarines, Jagatai Khan has the White Scars, Rogel Dorn has the Imperial Fists, Corvus Corax
I like the Imperial Fists. They were also one of my favorites.
has the Raven Guard, and there's a whole bunch of other side sections that are also extremely interesting and have a little bit more of a twist on the average Space Marines, which we will discuss in a bit. Humorously enough, I don't have a whole lot to say about Space Marines. They're superhumanly fast. In fact, it's been said that nothing that large should move that quick. These men in power armor moving at blazing fast speeds, their reflexes are faster, their skin is tougher. They are overall just extremely powerful soldiers. In fact, where they differ comes down to which Space Marine Legion we're talking about. For instance, the Ultramarines done by Robot Gilliman are the main blue boys, strong in almost every way, the jack of all trades kind of group that are a little bit too strong, and that's a lore problem, but the White Scars by Jagatai Khan are all about speed freaks, go fast. We're talking attack bikes, we're talking land speeders. You want to go in quick, you want to hit them hard, you want them to be swarming around like buzzflies. Buzz saws. With the speed of buzz saws.
Yeah. You get there.
Fuck you, Pale King. Salamanders love fire. Fire in the forge, fire in battle. Flamers, melta-guns, multi-meltas. Just so long as something can be burning, that's big. And they're also actually some of the nicest of the Space Marines. A lot of Space Marines have this kind of like holier-than-thou thing because of their genetic strength. However, the Salamanders tend to put human lives above the lives of themselves.
I love
which is actually rather
Salamanders.
rare. They're also all black, but not
I
like...
also saw that. Apparently Salamanders are it's like a mellochrome, like they are planted with mellochrome. Maybe I'm not saying it right, or maybe I'm getting misinformation. But I saw someone say like they have like unusually large amounts of like melanin from something that was implanted into them.
Just regular black, like 2 a.m. line at a White Castle. Black. Like they have a charcoal, dark, ashy exterior and blazing red eyes. Apparently something about living on their home planet of Nocturne, which I don't know if that makes much sense, but who cares? This is like fantasy land.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense either, too, because like if their home planet is Nocturne, right? And Nocturne usually means nighttime, then where the fuck are they getting the melanin?
Anyway.
They're supposed to be pale.
Overall, salamanders are actually one of my personal favorite legions because they're just really cool. They're fun to play as because of all their flamer weapons, and they have a nice, like, more heartwarming lore as opposed to being super evil like everyone else is. Oh my god, we're not even a quarter of the way through the Space Marine legions. Imperial fists believe in the power of the siege and defensive positions.
The babies,
Raven
the
guards,
lobotomized
master
babies.
of stealth and sabotage while having bird helmets. Iron hands, masters of machines and vehicles while being really goddamn good at being sold on eBay after one nerf. Space wolves, Vikings and wolves and tons of wolves. And,
they eat the
and
flesh of their
axes,
enemies.
Battle axes, fur everywhere. Space wolves, angry, big teeth. Blood angels, the genetic defect to make them want to drink blood and go crazy, called the Red Thirst. They have Cupid wings and stuff.
But the Red Thirst comes from their Primarch, right? Because their Primarch made like a pact, and then they died, and then the pact was true, and then that's where they get the thirst from. They were vampires before. Also the Black Thirst. They're vampires.
It's a little bit strange, and they are all super gay for Sanguinius. Dark Angels
I would
are
be
old
too.
school,
He's so
nice,
hot.
and inner circle theme, and...
Are you a heretic?
Me? No, never. Once in a blue moon, I know.
Just hanging
Deathwatch,
out.
a fancy anti-Xenos group that nobody plays because Deathwatch, and they look cool though, but no one plays them. I don't know about Deathwatch. They're there though. Black Templars, for the people who, if you haven't prayed at least 3 times a day, you're gonna start praying out that airlock. And I'm sure there's some other chapters I may have missed as well, like Crimson Fists and stuff, but those are the main ones right here. Here, quote from the Emperor himself. They shall be my finest warriors, these men who give of themselves to me.
Everyone,
like clay
bow
I
your
shall
heads.
mold them, and in the furnace of war I shall forge them. They shall be of iron will and steely sinew. In great armor I shall clad them, and with the mightiest weapons shall they be armed. They will be untouched by plague or disease, no sickness shall blight them. They shall have such tactics, strategies, and machines that no foe will best them in battle. They are my bulwark against the terror. They are my defenders of humanity. They are my space marines, and they shall know no fear. And on the tabletop, they fuck. Oh, they fuck hard.
Oh,
As of
they
making this
fuck
video,
hard?
Space Marines are laughably strong. That might change at some point, but overall, Space Marines just have it's like a Swiss Army knife, a tool for anything you need, except it's like a gold-plated Swiss Army knife. It is extremely strong. If you are actually getting into the tabletop of Warhammer, Space Marines are a great start. Also, whatever gameplay style you have, whether you want to be sit back with long range and heavy weaponry, go fast and run in, or even just full melee, all of these options are totally there for you. Space Marines are super badass, but unfortunately, it's time we start praying to our new god, the 2011 Honda Civic.
So is it any wonder people are afraid of technology?
Technology! The Adeptus Mechanicus. The Adeptus Mechanicus are a technophile cult on Mars. Now, these people are a little bit weird because they don't actually really believe in the Emperor of Mankind. And you might think, oh,
I told you,
Bricky, that sounds like some heresy. A little bit. They believe in the Emperor, they believe in his power, but they don't pray to him. They pray to something called the Omnissiah. And the Omnissiah is this kind of machine god that they believe permeates in all machines. And if you think, well, wait a minute, they believe in a different god as well? That sounds like super heresy. Well, yes-ish, but they also make all your guns, and they make all your tanks, and they make everything that you have. So you can't really tell them to fuck off, because you're not gonna win nothing if you don't got stuff to shoot people with. See, their Omnissiah at least makes sense from their standpoint.
Where you gonna get your gurns, huh? If you go to war with us, you don't have no gurns.
They believe it to be a deity that permeates through all machines. Your Honda Civic, your standard bolt gun, your Dune Strider Walker, your giant mechs, your huge ships. The Omnissiah is present through all. And the only reason your stuff works is because the machine's spirit in it says it works. If you want your gun to work, your tank to run, you must pray to it. And I mean full stop. You need to start chanting in high Gothic. You need to burn incense. You need to sit on your knees and pray to that car.
Okay, I like the Mechanicus.
Rub oil on your robes, and you need to go humana, 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 humana. Full stop on your robe. And you need to go humana, 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 humana. Full stop. If you want your damn thing to work, if you want your gun to fire, you need to do that. They are very bizarre, and they actually have a bit of a point because it's obviously
working. If you have ever jerry-rigged a connection, if you ever hit a toaster to get it to work, if you ever prayed for your monitor to get rid of its dead pixel and it did, you have actually believed in the Omnissiah, so it's time to become one.
Oh my god, it's real. Girl, we've been praying to the Omnissiah this whole time. We're heretics.
If you look at them, I don't know how that works. So they obviously know something about what they're doing. The most notable member of the Adeptus Mechanicus is Archmagos, whatever, Belisarius Call. Look at this dude. Look at this dude.
Please eat the meal of my family.
This is the group we're talking about.
Nice rest.
These are these weirdos. Here, the Omnissiah Creed. The credo, Omnissiah. There is no truth in flesh, only betrayal. There is no strength in flesh, only weakness. There is no constancy in flesh, only decay. There is no certainty in flesh, but death. Flesh is weakness, flesh is death. The Omnissiah is the god of the machines, and if you wish to be whole, if you wish to be holy, if you wish to give unto him, you must saw down your limbs and remove your organs and replace them with mechanical parts, because that is what he wants, and that
But what if you get hit by an EMP grenade, then what? Do you just like die?
is how you will become enlightened. Hard technophiles mixed with religious extremism. Adeptus Mechanicus. Now, for their army side of things, they are with the Scutari. The Scutari operate with very bizarre weaponry and lots of different kinds of vehicles, tanks, and different people in between. They're very weird, but they have extremely wacky and enjoyable, and in fact quite effective, both in the real game and in the lore, weaponry and gear. Overall, as an army on the tabletop, they're very weird and have a whole bunch of different shenanigans. But if you like kind of that quirky, wacky techno thing,
I want to be a Mechanicus.
Hell, they're so paranoid. I gotta keep going. They're so paranoid and crazy. These Dune Striders you see right here, one guy was able to make them work. One guy, and he died. And they're so scared they'll never work again that they keep them on and they never turn them off, and they run around in a circle the whole time until they need them, and then they corral it and they go into battle.
What?
Yep. The Adeptus Mechanicus. Now, if you want to talk about faith, though, let's talk about the Sisters of Battle.
A sim has fallen for an eagle in Lego City.
The Sisters of Battle of the Adeptus Sororitas, if that's how I pronounce it correctly, is an all-female group of battle sisters going through the ecclesiarchy section of the Imperium. The ecclesiarchy is, of course, the church. This is, imagine a private army of the church, which is scary, and it is. The sisters are an extremely zealotous force, and they take this to a full extreme. They believe in three main things.
So they're the Karens of space, or of Warhammer.
Through the Bolter, the Flamer, and the Melta, the Sisters of Battle are extremely potent at taking out chaos and heretics.
Wow.
Mainly heretics, because as they are a fighting section of the ecclesiarchy church, that's the big thing they want to kill. Any form of heretic will face the Emperor's justice through those three main weapons, the Bolter, the Flamer, and the Melta, and they will do so with extreme prejudice.
Sister of Battle.
Closest things we have to nuns in space, and I'm talking hardcore nuns. They carry holy fire on their backs.
That is
They
so
have
crazy.
holy like books and sigils all across their armor. Their main battle tank is a fucking pipe organ missile launcher. They have small babies that they have like removed their brain capacity to make them little servant cherubs to
We should do that to all babies,
fly
honestly.
around and give them ammunition and shit. They drop churches from low orbit as mini drop pods onto battles. They drop churches into battles and they blare war hymns and holy music from their frigates in low atmosphere and shower holy water across the battlefield.
Is this a real sister of battle? Like she just has wings? That's great. Saint Celestine. She's so cool. She's so cool.
These are the people you are dealing with, and they're fucking awesome. They can literally stave off demons on the tabletop because their faith is that strong. Remember
what does
the
that
warp,
mean? What does
demons
that mean?
from the warp? Well, the warp also manifests in your mind. All of your emotions, negative and positive, go through the warp. It's the immaterium, the place of all things. So if you are that mentally fortified, that mentally strong, you can stave off horrifying demons. And all these girls, not a crack. Not a crack in that mental armor.
Wow.
Now, as much as a meme as they are, and as much as their models look a lot like Ongo Gabloglian, yeah, which I can't unsee anymore, I gotta say, I love their design. I think they're extremely cool. They're another army that I'm currently collecting. They just released a whole new line of figures very recently, and they look wonderful. Everything from Celestine, the living, literally undying saint, from the triumph of Saint Catherine, which is literally a funeral procession as a model, those organ tanks I mentioned earlier. This shit is the most over-the-top badassery in a lot of the Warhammer
Battle
universe,
Nuns.
and goddamn it, is it over the top. But Sisters of Battle are so cool. While I'm a guardsman at heart, this is such a cool faction. By Bolter Shell, Flamer Burst, and Melta Blast, the mutant, the heretic, and the traitor alike are cleansed of their sin of existence. So it has been for 5 millennia, so shall it be until the end of time. And speaking of burning demons,
the Grey Knights. This is another popular one.
The Grey Knights are the first army I actually collected back in 7th edition. The Grey Knights are a super secretive and much more old school look at power armored knights, except they are all psychers. All of them have that crazy space magic magician shit.
I want to be a Grey Knight. I want to be everything. I want to be everything.
For every 100,000 guardsmen, there's 1 Grey Knight. For every 10,000 Sisters of Battle, there's 1 Grey Knight. For every 1,000 Space Marines, there's 1 Grey Knight. Grey Knights are the strongest of the strong, both in mental will and absolute just strength. These are Space Marines that are
doesn't that mean they're more likely to end up
all of them able to specifically do one goal, and that is kill demons. The Emperor believed that the demons of chaos were the #1 threat to the Imperium, and he probably is right. However,
but like if they're psychers, they're like influenced by the warp somehow, right?
It's a Diablo-esque game that lets you play a Sister of Battle.
I've never played any Warhammer game aside from Space Marines 2. Not even close. Well, they were well trained. Grey Knights are so secretive. An Imperial citizen. Wait. Any Imperial citizen that learns of them gets executed. Not even Darktide? No. I remember buying it and downloading it. I never played it. And I wanted to try Vermintide, but I didn't get to play it either.
this group is entirely based on doing that through a myriad of tactics. Coming from the planet, or I guess the moon of Titan in the Sol system, the Grey Knights are thrown through extremely rigorous training and are as clear of mind and soul as they possibly can be. Since the demons of the warp are the warp and your mind projects to the warp, people can go insane very fast, especially lower level psychers. These Grey Knights need to be able
Careful,
to harness
Yuzu.
the warp.
Wanting to be everything in 40k is how you end up waking up in a cold sweat surrounded by super glue and a pile of plastic shame.
I don't know what that means, and I don't think I want to know what that means.
In the presence of demons and stay perfectly sane. One of their characters, one of my favorite characters, is named Castellan Crow. He has a demon blade, the black blade of Mahamahama, and he has to have it on him because it tempts everyone nearby, constantly beckoning.
Wait, I need to rewind. Hold on.
To be able to harness the warp in the presence of demons and stay perfectly sane. One of their characters, one of my favorite characters, is named Castellan Crow. He has a demon blade, the black blade of Mahamahama, and he has to have it on him because it tempts everyone nearby, constantly beckoning them. Use my power, use my strength, suck my penis, whatever the...
Oh God! Is going straight to
freaky ass blade. Suck my penis.
Use my power, use my strength, suck my penis, whatever the possibility. And so he has to keep it on him all the time as this thing whispers to him consistently. And he has to stave it off forever, being alone in his chambers or on the battlefield, because anyone who gets too close to it might be tempted a little too hard.
Dang.
He is that pure of heart and mind, and all the characters in the Grey Knights.
That makes me want to corrupt him in a way, though. Like, don't you ever like see pure characters and you just want them to be corrupted?
Are basically like that. The only issue is that Grey Knights have a scorched earth policy, more ways than one. If they're fighting demons, demons corrupt and make people crazy. So if I'm a guardsman and I'm fighting demons, and the Grey Knights arrive and they kill all the demons, I'm a risk. And so guess who's not making it out of there? On the tabletop, they're very strike fast, strike hard. They teleport all around the place. They are fast strike groups, small amounts of models because they're so dang strong. You only have so many characters, but with it, you get in there, you're very tough, very tanky, you hit really hard, and you try to bounce around the battlefield quickly, but you don't have numbers. And so
Wait, what is that? Do you guys know what that is? The head right there? Is that... I feel like we talked about this before. Demonette head.
Dead Grey Knight hits really damn hard. They're fun though if you like that kind of fast striking kind of army. Oh, and also Caldor Drago is a thing. We're not even gonna get into Caldor Drago. All right, that is oh my goodness gracious.
Is he bad?
I am the hammer. I am the mail about his fist. I am the spear in his hand. Though we are lost, I am the shield on his arm. I am the flight of his arrows. I am the hammer. I am the sword. I am the shield. I am a soldier at the battle at the end of time.
Wow.
Grey Knights are pretty hardcore. They are as holy as you can get for a Space Marine.
I feel like I'm at church right now.
You like Space Marines and you want to, you don't think they're holy enough? You want to be holier? Grey Knights. Now, if you want to be holier and big, let's talk Imperial Knights.
Oh, Imperial Knights.
Do you like gigantic walkers the size of homes or medium-sized buildings? Do you want to kill heretics, but you want to kill like 40 of them per turn? Do you want a...
What is the thing that Numi has under her bed? Bionics. They look like Bionicles.
Gigantic, old-school knight noble house style of walkers with giant chainsaw arms? Then you got Imperial Knights. Imperial Knights, it's not a whole lot to talk about them because they're just gigantic walkers, but they have this old-school, like, house feel to them. Like, literally, like they're houses. Each Imperial Knight comes from a house, and each of them act in their own special way. These behemoth of walkers also destroy almost
and that's just a
everything in their
Xenos.
path, killing
That looks
full
like a regular
swaths of
species.
squads in a couple shots, stepping on legions of troops. Like, these things do not mess around. And they look so cool.
Eldar
Imperial Knights
Titan.
and Chaos Knights, actually, for that matter, don't have a whole lot to discuss. They're just super big, heavy walkers, and they look different depending on your
look at that
house or
demon.
chaos god you currently believe in. And overall, these things are just really cool if you want to murder everything in your path. They're the big, scary, big unit of Warhammer, and if you want to collect them, go to town. They make for a great painting project, too. Getting more back down to earth, let's talk something about a little bit different, a little more gold. If guardsmen are regular soldiers, space marines are super soldiers, Grey Knights are super soldiers, the Adeptus Custodes are super soldiers cubed. The Adeptus Custodes are the third major army I own. I know, 3 armies. I know, I got carried away, okay, but that's all. I only have 3. Okay?
Henry Cavill likes Warhammer! This man keeps getting even more attractive and more attractive. What the fuck? Is Henry Cavill like a huge nerd? Does he play a lot of games? He's a huge 40K fan. Oh! I wasn't aware of his game. I just saw him in The Witcher. I only learned of him through The Witcher. And now oh god, now he's oh fuck. I need to meet this man.
They are our final brand of Space Marines, but these ones are super special. Okay, if a guardsman is 6 foot, a Space Marine is 7 feet, a custodian is 8 feet. These are the giant defenders of Holy Terra, which is also Earth.
He's married. Fuck. Well, guys, it's over. Shit.
Earth is Terra. Earth, Terra. Themselves. These are the people that literally guard the Emperor's
has a
throne
YouTube
room.
video
And
of him building his
custodians.
gaming PC.
These boys protect the
so
Emperor's throne room at all times and are literally like handcrafted people. They're not humans brought up by a gene seer or something. These are all handcrafted super soldiers. I think from a tube. These behemoth of men are like 8 feet, 8.5 feet tall, and functionally immortal. They stand still, spear in hand, for hundreds of years without the need to sleep and barely even the need to eat, watching over the throne room and every other area of Holy Terra for their entire purpose in life. And oh my lord, are they terrifying. These custodians put Space Marines to shame. If you like
Isn't gold one of the more malleable metals out there? So is gold really even a good material to be making armor with? Not not this gold. Oh, okay, it's just this gold is probably infused with something, huh?
your super soldiers into your super mega soldiers. One of these men can take on probably 3 Space Marines and most likely win. There are many different groups of custodians as well, like the Solar Watch, or there's also one of my personal favorite, the Aquila Shield. The Aquila Shield go out to seemingly unimportant individuals and protect them because they believe that they are going to be doing something very important in their lives. For instance, let's say a regular guardsman gets the protection of this giant 8.5-foot tall golden god because that guardsman will end up becoming a general one day or something of that nature. The custodians work in mysterious ways and are almost always outnumbered, but never outmatched.
Wow.
These people are pretty horrifying, both on the tabletop as well as in the lore. There are very few of them, however, and there's actually an extremely small amount of them, but that's kind of the point. There's only so many of these people that can have war gear this strong, weapons this powerful, and training this good. And the custodians have all 3 of it. For 100 years, I stood my watch amidst the somber shadows of the Sanctum Imperialis. I was still as a statue, but always ready. always attuned to dangers unseen. Days, months, years passed by in a frenzied blur beyond those walls, yet within little moved and nothing changed. For 100 years I did not but wait, yet had any threat appeared, I would have struck it down in a heartbeat. For 100 years I stood my watch, and as it ends I can tell you this: patience is a weapon. The custodians are the top dogs of the Imperium, and they hurt just that same way. Though I do want to discuss a little bit.
Whoa! Woman custodies.
About the Sisters of Silence.
Oh, wait, never mind. Sisters of Silence.
Before we get out of here, because the Sisters of Silence I also have a few of, and they're really fun, but they don't get enough attention. These kind of bald ladies are a whole group of pariahs, or also known as blanks. We'll be referring to them as blanks from now on. As every mind is somewhat connected to the warp, these blanks are a genetic mutation that has it suppressed heavily. Because of that mind suppression, normal people feel this weird, like, uncomfortable nature when around them. When a Sister of Silence walks past them, you feel ill. You feel just uncomfortable and strange. So most of them don't actually live past childhood because
they're negative riz. They have negative aura. Wait, if they don't talk, then how do they communicate? Like telepathically? What do they do? Maybe like sign language. Hand signs? Okay. Sign language. It's giving Numi core. Y'all are so foul for that.
They are birthed, they're, well, you know, killed or something at a very young age because they just emit a horrifying aura. These ladies, however, are guardians of the throne as well for more psychic threats. See, none of the custodians are psychers, so they have a
I like that theme. It kind of reminds me of Silencer from Dota.
difficult time dealing with major demons and other kinds of psychic phenomena. These sisters are extremely specialized in it, all of them taking a vow of silence as they don't speak, hence the term Sisters of Silence, but they communicate through hand gestures and things of that nature. But if there's a demon issue, if there's any kind of warp-based problem, the sisters are extremely adept at dealing with them, thanks to their blank gene. They normally work...
So their blank gene means they're not affected by warp and their thoughts and stuff don't go to the warp. Is that what that means? Oh.
A lot of time with the custodian.
Psychers hate them too. Also, they're just completely unaffected by the warp. That is crazy. They're anti-warp.
Because they have to deal with both kinds of threats, but they're not represented that way on
they're hella mage slayers.
Tabletop. In fact,
very
they only
anti-mage.
have like one real model for them, which is very unfortunate. I hope they'll get something new soon, because I think they should really be working together as it is that way in the lore. But hopefully we'll get there soon. But if we're talking about blanks, let's talk assassins.
What the? Officio Assassinorum.
It's been a long video. We're about to round it out. We got this and one more human thing, and then we're done. The assassins, though, the Officio Assassinorum, oh boy, these people are deadly. Yeah, they're called assassins. They should be, but oh man.
He's getting excited.
Mess you up. So these are from the Officio Assassinorum, a very special organization, and they are handpicked by the Grand Master of the Officio Assassinorum from the what was it called? Schola Progenium. It's basically an orphan school. Your parents got murdered by demons or something. You get sent to this and you get trained
and you become an assassin.
Tempestus drop troop, an inquisitor, maybe even. Maybe
wow.
you get a blank
putting those
gene
orphans to use.
Silence, or sometimes you just disappear. When you are taken, however, you go to one of 4 temples because the Assassinorum works in a temple style of things. These temples are the Vindicare, Caluxus, Calidus, and Eversor temples. Let's start with the Vindicare. I'm far away.
Holy
I've been sitting
shit!
Here for
that guy's
3
ripped.
Weeks. Poof! The Vindicare temple is the main sniper-based temple. Gigantic sniper rifles for all these assassins. Their whole point is to be able to be in a spot and sit there, eye and scope, for weeks, waiting for their perfect target, taking people out from literal miles away. after extremely long time periods. The Vindicare Temple is
They
about
just sit there
precise,
for weeks.
perfect aim. There have been reports of Vindicares being able to single out particular body parts from over 2-3 miles away. Temples in the head, the jugular, for instance, and been sitting there after weeks. And when they're ready,
They just piss and shit themselves, I guess.
take that shot. Time is done. Packs them up. The
But it looks like they're wearing leather bodysuits, so the piss and shit just stays inside. It doesn't ever seep out. It's just by the end of their shift. Oh, you can see
temple, however,
things.
is a lot more about
that-
shape shifting
Oh,
and
wow.
deviant art. It's mostly a female-based one, or at least it seems to be, and this allows a lot of body augmentation for certain individuals to be able to kind of transmorph themselves and infiltrate areas that are problems. These assassins will end up taking
Holy.
missions that take them years, 2-3 years, to infiltrate a heretical group and slowly work their way up just to get enough time to put a bullet into the main target's head
shit.
and then escape.
When he says transmorph, does that mean they can turn into anything that they want to?
Unharmed, or become the main target and sabotage it from within.
Oh, that
These
is
are all
so
completely
cool.
about deception,
That is
mind
so
tricks,
cool.
polymorphing, and everything in between, and lots of drawings.
Oh,
Lots of drawings. The Eversor Temple, just kind of disturbing one. The Eversor Temple is about when you don't want anything to come back alive, friend or foe. You want it all dead.
Dead.
And Eversor is
are they so
psychogenically
ripped?
conditioned with just psychotherapy and psychological torture to only feel violence, hatred, and anger. It does the Clockwork Orange style of thing of just making you forced to watch never-ending pain and misery and psycho conditioning, I guess is the term. And then they pump you full of tons of psychedelic drugs and they cryo freeze you. And then they drop you in an area where they just want to make sure everything is dead. And then you defrost, full of just all this insane, mind-boggling psychotherapy and psychedelic drugs. And you
Holy
just go
frick,
to town.
guys.
Yeah, if you don't care if anyone comes back alive. You're like, all right, lost cause, send them in. Finally, there's the most bizarre temple, the Caluxus Temple.
Guys.
The Caluxus assassins are
If I say something, if I may say something.
feared even among the other temples. So that blank gene, the people will go to the Caluxus Temple.
Can I
with
say
this as well.
something?
And this is where they can harness that to be massively anti-psyker or even just anti-regular people. They are seen with extreme fear and distrust among many, many people. They are described by the Eldar by quote as being
Eldar.
pure evil. Imagine that uncomfortable feeling from that
These are
blank
the Eldar?
gene I mentioned. And then imagine them being taught and given equipment to amplify it by 100.
Oh, these are the Tau.
If normally regular people feel uncomfortable, now they are basically akin to being a siren wailing directly in your ear. And if you're a psyker, oh no, the sheer presence
you're
of
fucked
a
if you're a
assassin
psyker.
is enough for you to tear your skin off. You will rather gouge your eyes out and rip your nails off than even being near this person. The Caluxus assassin is when you want psychers to literally lose their minds, and they will go on their knees and ask you to gun them down because it is a suitable choice over being anywhere near you. The motto of that temple is, "That which is unknown and unseen commands the greatest fear." Now for the tabletop, the
All of them are hot as fuck. There, I said it.
assassins aren't
They're
that
hot.
special. You can call them in no matter what Imperium faction you are, and they do a lot of work for themselves, but at the same time, they're very specialized and require a lot of finesse. And they work the way you generally want them to, though. You want to cause some distortion and weird stuff, you take a Calidus. You want to just murder swaths of infantry and then blow up Eversor. You want to kill that one guy, Vindicare, and if you have a lot of psychers, Caluxus. It's a nice little, like, jack of all trades.
Oh,
if
so
you have a
you have
specific thing
different
you wanna kill.
specialized
and you get
ones.
to choose which is
I
really
think my
fun.
favorite one is
But
the
now,
Morphling.
Let's talk about the last human faction. We can round this video out before we do part 2. The Inquisition. We have a lot to talk about.
Inquisition,
with them.
Dragon Age Inquisition.
Oh boy. Where do I even begin with the Inquisition? Take every secret police you can think of. the KGB, the Gestapo, the CIA, FBI, any of these kinds of people, and then mark it up by about 10 and give them the most power in the entire Imperium.
Yeah, that sounds balanced.
You know what? How about this? This right here, it's not just a quote. This is the Imperial motto, the motto of the Inquisition. I apologize for my bad pronunciation. Innocentia
That
nihil
Warhammer Diablo-ish game also lets you play as the hot assassin lady.
Oh.
probat. Innocence proves nothing.
What? So what the fuck is the point then? What? Just kill everyone?
The most powerful organization in the Imperium, the secret police, their #1 motto is innocence proves nothing. The Inquisition
Everyone's guilty until proven guilty,
goes around
but also still guilty.
like the secret police or like detectives to find issues in the Imperium. And they have different ordos depending on which one we're talking about. The Ordo Hereticus, the Ordo Xenos, the Ordo Malleus, for instance, and a whole bunch of other ones. Hereticus is obvious, they deal with heretics. Xenos tries to find alien threats, and Malleus is demons. They all have different specializations in what they're trying to go for as
The
this
Inquisition
Inquisitor.
into your actions prove you innocent. Heresy. To the gallows with you.
Damn, you better not piss them off
That's what
then.
they're called, Inquisitors. Each of them, as an Inquisitor, has their own free reign to do as they wish. They may have a ship and a crew, and they go out to find problems and interrogate people a lot. They are above the law in every department over Space Marines.
So
Now, the Space
balanced,
Marines
guys,
might
so
argue
balanced.
against them and stuff, and there might be a lot of blowback.
That's
but
so shit.
technically, they are above them as Inquisitors. They are looking to investigate and figure out coups and cults and demonic incursions and possible Xenos issues like gene stealers.
What if you're just having fucking dinner and then some random Inquisitor barges into your house and he's like, "You guys are plotting against the Emperor." But you just have what if you get a corrupt ass fucking Inquisitor?
a new threat coming into an area. They're about learning that stuff and actually doing detective work. And memes aside, they're pretty good at it. The Inquisition having all of this power does make them a little bit power hungry and frantic sometimes. And yes, it is still a bad thing, but most of them are pretty good at their job. And they spend a lot of time being very
Holy,
diligent
she looks like
to
a
make
founding
sure that all
father.
of these leads they follow are proper and correct. They're basically space detectives with just enormous power and sometimes a bit of a power complex. And we haven't even talked about Exterminatus yet. Exterminatus is deeming a planet unfit to be saved. I deem that this planet is demon infested, and taking it back
Oh, so they just explode it is what I'm getting at. They just explode the planet?
will cost too many resources and is not worth it. I have now committed Exterminatus on this planet. I will now sign the death warrant of an entire Imperium planet, as it is unfit to take and better to be destroyed than allow the enemy to hold it. This can mean saturation bombardment.
The reason innocence proves nothing is because you could unknowingly worship in chaos. Can't take risks.
Oh, I see. The freaking just exploding a whole planet. Imagine you're on the planet and then you're just you're sleeping and you're in a village that's like perfectly fine, right? And then someone determines your planet is unfit to be saved and you just get exploded and you wake up dead.
Cracking the planet's core and breaking it apart doesn't matter. Render this planet inhospitable to all life. Yes, the innocence proves nothing people are the only people who can choose this planet must
born on a better
die
planet than you,
in its
bozo.
entirety.
We should have used Elon Musk's what's it called? His spaceship to go to Mars
you're
or something.
playing the villain. Now it is memed a lot, but most Inquisitors are very rare to do Exterminatus. Exterminatus is a very crazy thing. There's only so many worlds that you don't want to destroy all of them. Now naturally, with the memes aside, there are some people who are a little bit rough on this one. But most Inquisitors generally don't like to do Exterminatus a ton, but it is an option they have.
Dang.
And it's a crazy option when you think about it.
Definitely not gay. No, she's definitely
are
gay.
Unfortunately not represented on the tabletop very much. You generally kind of put one in your army if you feel like it. You have a couple special options there and some side content, but they're not really fleshed out very well, and personally they need a lot more stuff put in there, and they really need a lot more effort put into them, and they're not quite where I want them to be.
There is no such
Overall,
thing
the
as
Inquisition
innocence,
makes for a
only
lot of the
degrees
best
of guilt.
storytelling as well, because it's a little bit hard to talk about a big story of a whole bunch of Space Marines killing something, right? It's just a big battle story. It's not as interesting. Having that intrigue and that moral dilemma that an Inquisitor has makes for a lot better media. And honestly, the more people do it, I think it's better, because then it adds
As long
a
as
little
the
more humanity to the
Inquisitors
Warhammer
are
horrible,
good at their
horrible
job,
grimdarkness. And wow,
and not just
we
willy-nilly
finished the
killing
humans,
people.
All right, come back for part 2 when we talk about Chaos and Xenos, because we got to talk about the 4 Chaos Gods and all the Chaos Marine Legions and the Tau and the Necrons and the Orcs. And
Ooh,
oh boy,
I'm excited for that one.
I'll see you in part 2.
Thanks, Bricky. I just felt like I just went to church. That was really good. That was really well done. Thanks, Bricky. Oh. Part 2 next stream.
One of my favorite lines from the Dawn of War games is this one that kinda describes the Inquisition. An open mind is like a fortress with its gates unbarred and unlocked.
Oh, that's a good quote, actually. That's pretty good. We are actually going to be watching part 2 for another day, because I do want to play Space Marines 2. So we're gonna split today's stream up with a Bricky video and then playing some game. And then the next time we play Space Marines again, we are gonna watch a Bricky video and then get into the game. So we're gonna save part 2 for another day, guys.